A different sort of video from me today, and one that does not involve lying on my back working on an old Land Rover. So I'm up in North Yorkshire and I'm there for the weekend trying to work out what to do, and I stumble across a road called Hardknott Pass. And I didn't know about it before, but it turns out to be one of the steepest roads in the UK. So join me as we drive through it. Starts off with these delightful signs, which means that you know you're going to be in for a good time. And I also noticed that if you do have an emergency, this phone box isn't actually going to help you out, which is pretty ridiculous because this is genuinely a dangerous road. And the first day when I got here was actually the day before I recorded this, and the road was shut because the air ambulance had to come. And then this is the second day, and I came in the afternoon and the air ambulance had already been that day. So no joke. And we're talking like the weather's nice at the moment, so you can imagine what trying to do a 33 degree road, 1 in 3 road is like in the winter. You're just going to slide off, especially this is single track all the way around. So as you can see, this is a mecca for cyclists, motorists alike, and at the end of the day, being single track, you really have to kind of give way to bikes. As you can imagine, there's a bit of a mecca to conquer on a bike, and it's actually part of an annual Fred Witten Challenge, which is a 112-mile ride around the Lake District. I saw this on the road right at the peak of the hill and thought, yeah, that's a comforting thing to see. Anyway, so let's skip the bike. This is the first run that I took on this pass, and unbelievably, this guy in front of me has just got a brand new Ferrari. You can see, even on this wide-angle camera, I think it gives a good idea of just how steep this road is, because normally on these cameras things look pretty flat, and this still doesn't look flat. But good on this guy. I mean, he gave it all the way up the hill. There was no being precious about this 21 plate Ferrari. So like I say, this is the first run of the day, and you can see the cloud cover's pretty low, but I'm just going to show you this bit, and later on I'll cut back to the footage that I took later, and it's much clearer, and you'll see further just the unbelievable views that you see when you get to the top. However, looking at this red car, it's safe to say that not everybody gets to the top, and I just can't believe that these people thought, oh, I'll park there and abandon their car. So carrying on without the Ferrari, but much clearer later on, we carry over the pass. So this tarmac track runs between Eskdale and Duddon Valley in the Lake District, like National Park in Cumbria, in England, and the pass takes its name from Hardknott, which is derived from the Old Norse, apparently, like Hartha, which is hard, and Nutter, which is apparently stands for craggy hill, but both those things make sense because it is hard and it is a craggy hill. The maximum elevation that you're going to get to going over here is 393 metres, which is 1,290 feet. And I mean, unfortunately for me, I never got there to say that it was clear enough, but apparently you can see the Isle of Man on clear days. So this road is pretty ancient, and was built by the Romans around AD 110 to link a coastal fort that they've built right at the top here. And if you see pretty much where I drove to, when you look back, you can see the walls of the fort really clearly from the top of the hill. So you can park just up there, walk down the road, which I'm showing you in great detail, and you pop up this hill and you're basically in the fort. And it's pretty impressive. It's well worth a stop off. I think a lot of people come over this pass and don't realise it's here, although the sheep are pretty much the main inhabitants these days. As with anything Roman, it seems to have a baths, and I noticed that this thing here has got round walls, and I thought, oh, what? I always see round walls at Roman remains. Where do I see them? Oh yeah, baths. So there you go. This is a part of the Roman baths that the fort had. So I don't know. It's quite a posh fort, I would have thought, to have a baths. So as often seems to be the case, this road fell into disrepair after the Romans left, kind of in the early 5th century, but remained as an unpaved pack horse route. The road originally was used entirely for military traffic, but after the Romans left, it was used to transport agricultural stuff around. And by the Middle Ages, the road was known as Waingate, which is cart road, or like Wayne's Carth, which is cart pass. So fast forwarding to the 1880s, a bunch of hoteliers got together to finance some improvements to the road, hoping to get more tourists in. But by the next year, they'd already judged the scheme to be not the success that was anticipated. Anyway, overall, the road did have popularity with cyclists and early motorists, and the Cyclist Touring Club in 1911 guide said that the road was difficult going west and cruel coming east. Anyway, road stayed like that. Second World War came and the area got used for tank training, which completely destroyed the road altogether. And it stayed like that for a little while, until after the war, when it was resurfaced and opened back up to the public as we know it today. So at the beginning of the video, I did say that it was one of the steepest roads in England, and as far as I can tell, the only other kind of claimant to the prize of the steepest is Chimney Bank in North Yorkshire. I mean, I've never been there, but I had a quick look at the pictures to see if it was going to be like this, and I just don't think it's the same setup with the switchbacks all the way up a hill. I think there's just a piece of the road that is super steep. So yeah, I'm basically out of facts now, and the history lesson's over. So I'm kind of left to summarise this road, and for me, I just had a terrific day out. I went over it a few times, and I stopped off all over the place, and I just met loads of really interesting people that were pleased to be there and kind of get their stories and where they come from and what they were doing. Getting to Hardknott Pass is not something you're going to do quickly, and when you're on the pass itself, again, you know, factor in time. It's not a very long road, but if you meet pretty much any traffic like I am now, you're going to have to reverse and wait and kind of fiddle about. So don't rush, because you can't. I actually did this in conjunction with going up Scafell Pike, so the highest mountain in England, and they're really close to each other, so it does make sense to do those two things. Like if you're going to go and do Scafell Pike, you're so close to here that you really might as well go and check this road out, because you know it's really unique, and it is the steepest bar one. Well, it is joint steepest. They do say, like some of the articles you read go, it's the most dangerous road in Britain, or you know, the most challenging. And I think, you know, you do have to have a degree of competency. I wouldn't pass your license and rush out here, but at the same time, everybody's very friendly and very understanding of what's going on. There was nobody trying to push through here, so every time you had to kind of pass, or you know, people stop way before there's any kind of problem, so you don't tend to get stopped right on a very steep bit. And I did actually pull over to watch this, I don't know, is that a T25 camper? Because I wasn't convinced they were going to make it, so I pulled over and had a look, but no, they absolutely did. I tried to get a video, but there was actually just no drama at all. They just went up, but I don't know if they got stuck further up. There's some of the hairpins, because you're going around quite a gradient, but also uphill, you do need quite a bit of articulation in your wheels to keep your power down. So if you don't have traction control or something, like on some of these older cars, I can imagine you'd end up with a wheel, you know, back wheel up in the air, or a front wheel in the air, whichever one's driving, and you're definitely going to get some wheel spin just through the lack of articulation that you're really going to need to get up. So on this run, that you've watched, I've come from the west side. I'm heading east.
Yeah.
And you'll see towards the end of the video there's a tiny humpback bridge with a cattle grid, and that, once you've gone over that, that's the end of the Hardknott Pass, and then you then go into Wrynose Pass, which again you might as well do it for two reasons. One, you've pretty much got no choice unless you're going to turn around and head back, and secondly, Wrynose Pass, whilst it's not sort of the steepest or got any kind of record-breaking accolades, it's just absolutely beautiful. And especially when you've gone through Hardknott, because you are fiddling about with the road quite a lot. I mean, you do have to concentrate on what you're doing, but when you go on the Wrynose Pass, it just opens out. Well, you're still in a steep kind of pass, but it's just got a real easiness to it. You can see far in advance, and it's a really lovely route, which I recommend you do. I've got the footage from going on it, which I will post. Like if people are interested in this video, then I'll go on and post the Wrynose Pass video. Here's somebody going in a new Tesla, which I thought was quite interesting. I imagine that would have no trouble at all with the torquiness of the motors. That's probably quite a good vehicle to do it in. Anyway, here we are. We're just reaching the end of the passage around the corner. That's the bridge. And, you've reached the end. And again, you can just see the beauty of the rivers flowing past you and the sheep everywhere and the cows. Very nice. So yeah, so great. I mean, like I say, it's not my usual kind of video, but I just thought it was really interesting to show you what I've been up to. Certainly a pretty unique experience, and one that I would wholesomely recommend next time you are in the Lake District. Anyway, thanks ever so much for watching. Next week, definitely getting back to Land Rover stuff.